Welcome everyone to our update Zoom tonight. We have really special treat here. We have released a new program a few days ago. We were going to wait until tonight to release it, but we released the sensory immersion program, which incorporates meditation and sound into the program. And some of you have already tried that out. But Grandmaster David will be going over the sensory immersion, the interactive chat, the smart session, and maybe a couple other things. We would love to hear at some point. We'll ask for testimonials if you just want to share your experience with the sensory immersion, how it's working for you, or any feedback. We'd love to hear that. And so, without further ado, I'll hand you over to Grandmaster David for tonight's Zoom.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Yes, we have a lot of cool stuff to show you tonight because not only do we have the new sensory immersion tool, but we also have made some big modifications to the smart session to make it easier and even more robust than it was before. So let me check and see if I can share my screen. It looks like I can. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. And let's start with the smart session first. I'll show you some new tools that we've done with that. So when you click smart session and this panel comes up, now you can tell the smart session whatever it is that you would like to focus on. Normally a smart session does complete and total AI based on your biorhythmic scan and based on your history, and it kind of puts the stuff together for you to give you kind of an optimal experience. But now you can type in whatever you want and it'll focus the smart session on that. So let's try something like depression. Okay. And so depression, I click on that, and now you might see a new box come up on your phone or your tablet or whatever, and it says, can I use the microphone? And you may have some settings that you can choose. And so I'm just going to say forever, yes, I allow you to use the microphone. So we can do the voice analyzer. So now I'm going to be able to talk into Serenity, and she's going to be able to pick up stress markers in my voice. And so now I can kind of describe the problem. And so I can say, for example, I'll click on the microphone icon and you can see she's listening now. And I can say, I've had depression for a really long time. It affects me throughout the day. Sometimes I watch the news and that makes me depressed. Sometimes I think I feel lonely. However you want to explain whatever the problem is. And once you're done, you can just click next. And then I'm back to setting my settings normally the way I would normally do it on a smart session, setting the intensity or setting the timing. So I'm just going to hit continue, and I'll just rate it as the worst. And so everything else from there is the same, except when the session is completed, I'll be able to go into my history and it'll be a little bit different in the history. So we'll say that that ran for the full hour. So I'm just going to stop it and I'll say, okay, I'm doing the best now. And if I go into my history, you can see it says smart session, depression. So whatever I typed into the first box is going to be a smart session, and then whatever I typed into the first box. And so now your smart sessions won't just say smart session, they'll actually say smart session and whatever you typed in. Now, for some of you who like total automation and the speed and convenience of not going through typing stuff in or doing a voice scan in, you can totally use the smart session in the same way that you've been using it before. And I'm going to show you how to do that. We just click on smart session and I'm going to click next, next, and here we are. So I skipped giving it a name for the session, and I skipped giving it a voice stress analysis profile for the subject of the session. and I could go on and continue with my session. Now it's just going to say smart session in the history, but that's okay. Maybe I don't care about that. I just want the session to run and I don't have a lot of time to spend on it. Another way of doing this is to click on the smart session and click next, and then click the microphone and explain what it is that you want. So you can skip labeling the session and telling her what to focus on. You can go right to the microphone icon and you can just say whatever it is that you want help with. So I could say, my back hurts, and I think it's kidney pain. Maybe I have bladder meridian problems and my yang channels are weak, whatever I want to say. And so then this will then, the stress markers will go in and computate, Serenity will computate the right subtle energies. So I can put it on whatever I want, and I can go ahead and set the settings and start the session. And I can already feel it affecting me as soon as I run it. And so I was just kind of curious to know what it felt like, because I said a bunch of different things and I can feel it, pinging all those things. So the voice scanner that scans for the markers is incredible. And it's a great new way of using the smart session, because you can type it in or you could just tell it what the problem is. Now, the only drawback potentially to using it that way is that it will not save it in your history as anything other than a smart session, because we don't record what we're saying and store it. It's recorded, it's processed, and then it's tossed. So that's for your privacy. So only you hear what it is that you're saying. And so so if you want to go do a deep dive and talk to Serenity for 30 minutes before you start a smart session, you can do that. And so the information is not kept anywhere. So it'll only say smart session when you're completed. So a lot of cool new stuff with the smart session. We can either now give it a theme, or we can tell it what's going on, or we can elaborate on the theme. And now it'll show up in the history. And so you'll see smart session and then whatever you typed in. So this has been really powerful and really great. It's really amped up the ability of the smart session to hit markers that we've been able to hit with our voice technology in the past. So the integration of these two things is just great. So now I'm going to show you the next thing. First, I'm going to click interactive session. And then I'm going to click on the menu and I'm going to go to sensory immersion. Select. And so this page comes up and we have start sensory immersion. Now, before I start sensory immersion, I would like to show you something very important, because I don't want you calling me later and asking me what happened to your history. If you notice, there's only one thing in my history, and that's a test that I ran earlier to make sure everything was working right. And I typed in stress. But my history that we saw a minute ago isn't there. And that's because this panel has its own history. So if you click on history and you're wanting to run something from the other panel, it doesn't work like that. This is going to have its own independent history, just like a Serenity session, which is a interactive session, also has its own history. So they have their own history. So don't think your history has been wiped out or anything. So, okay, we're going to go to sensory immersion, or start sensory immersion. So the sensory immersion comes up, and now I can tell it whatever I want. I can type in whatever I want. And so just for the sake of doing things, we'll say depression, and I'll hit next. Now the voice stress analyzer comes up and I can talk about it just like I did on the smart session earlier. I don't have to talk about it, but if I want to talk about it and elaborate on it, because the more data points that you give Serenity, obviously, the more information she's got to work with and make the right choices for you during the session. So I can say, I'm depressed since uh, my dog died, and I lost a bunch of money, and I just feel really terrible right now. All right, so once I do that, I can just hit next, and I can select, the worst, and now Serenity is giving me an exercise that she wants me to do, and this is the whole point of uh, um, all I can think of is sensory immersion right now. Interactive. This is the whole point of interactive sessions, is that we're taking time out for ourselves to do things for ourselves, to kind of get to that deeper layer, to relax deeper into it. So she gives me an exercise that she wants me to do, and that's to focus on my adrenals for 30 seconds. Well, maybe I don't know where my adrenals are. It doesn't matter, just focus on the concept of the adrenals for 30 seconds. And so, just so you don't have to see me sitting here meditating on adrenals for 30 seconds, I'm going to skip the exercise, but I'd recommend definitely doing the exercise. Take the time for yourself and do the exercise. And so, when I click on this, uh, the next portion comes up, and this is the actual sensory immersion exercise. And so this is going to show you uh, specialized graphical clips and special harmonic resonant frequencies that I put together in almost 100 different ways to create specific profiles for different stress factors. And so based on what I said, she's going to pick one for me and she's going to play it. And each one of them run approximately 3 minutes. But as you can see, Serenity tells you, basically headphones are optimal. They're not necessary, but you want to get like a relaxed, comfortable position. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, let your breath out, open your eyes, and get ready to sit back and feel the immersion. And so I'm going to click play when I'm ready. And the clip comes up, and there's a lot of vibrational patterns that are hitting me that I can hear. And so this particular one is a relaxing cloud drift, and it's got a great audio track with it that has a lot of great vibrations in it. Now I'm gonna skip to the end of it so we don't have to sit through the whole 3 minutes. And then at the end, Serenity comes up and she asks, "Okay, how are you doing with that problem now?" And I'll say that I've got no pain. I'm doing really good with that now, and I'm going to submit. Now, something I want you to notice here, even though I said that I have no pain, I rated it as 0, which is 100% improvement from when I started. She still asked me, "Do you want to continue the session?" That's different, okay? Because normally, if you say 0 and it's 100% improvement, then she doesn't ask you if you want to continue the session. But this, she does. And the reason for that is because this is built to do a deep dive with certain things. And I'll give you an example of that. So I'll just say, no, I don't want to continue with that. So this is for when I want to sit down and I want to spend some time working on myself and my deepest, darkest issues. Okay. And so and like most personal issues. So if I click on this and I say, like, let's say, I'll say family issues. Now I really don't have any family issues because my family's pretty great, but I know family issues is really big when it comes to a lot of people in the world. So I'll say family issues, and I'll say, click on the icon, and I'll say, my brother used to bully me when I was a kid, and it made me really upset. And, my parents never paid any attention to me, and I didn't get any love or no caring or understanding. And it made me really upset and blah, 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 blah. And so then once I said everything that I want to say, then I want to click next. And then I'll select the worst. And so then it gives me an exercise to do. touch your ring fingers together. Okay, so that's pretty easy for 30 seconds and breathe slowly. And then in 30 seconds, I would separate them, and then I would hit complete, and then I would do the sensory immersion. And so this will go by for 3 minutes, and it'll saturate me with vibration for 3 minutes, vibration that you can hear, some that you can't, but obviously vibration that you can hear. And then I'm just going to skip through it to save time, but you don't want to do that. You want to let the whole 3 minutes go by, and you want to relax and watch the screen, and you'll kind of just get like carried away with it. Just the stress just comes off of you. And so now maybe actually I'm feeling a lot better about my family experience. And I go, you know what? I'm actually over that. I'm not mad at them anymore. And I click submit. But you know what? There was this teacher one time that really got on my nerves. So I'm not done yet. So I'm going to continue. And so this time I can say that teacher, all right, and I can go through the whole process again. And what this does is it takes off layers of deep emotionality and pain and stress. It takes that away from you in like 3 minute increments. So it works really, really fast. And so you can come back and you can do it over and over again. And so just because you've completed something doesn't mean there's not a deeper layer. And that's what brings us back to wanting to continue. But in this case, I'm not going to continue because I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say. Um, and there, like I say, there's almost 100 video and audio images that I put together, all custom built by me over the last several weeks, to do like really cool, amazing, almost hypnotic level stuff. It's really, really zones you out. So I definitely want to hear feedback, good, bad, or indifferent, from everybody who's been using it or trying it. And so obviously, if there's any bugs with incorporating the new stuff in the system, if there's anything that you see, let us know. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and see if we got anybody that commented, anybody who's tried it out yet, because we actually released it probably 4 or 5 days ago. And you might have noticed because it kind of crashed our servers temporarily. And so Emily's like, oh, people are upset that MetaBalance is offline. And I'm like, oh, why is it offline? And apparently the update like messed it up. So I was like, all right, I'll tell you what, as an apology, I'll just release the update early. We won't wait for Sunday. So there you go. You got it 4 or 5 days early. So we mess up. I try to make it up to you. So do we have any questions or any comments or anything,
Um,
Emily, so far?
so will the voice scanner work on a laptop?
Yes, if it has a microphone, and it'll ask you for the first time, it'll say, hey, can I use the microphone? And then you just say, yeah, that's fine. And then it'll use the microphone on. So in fact, I'm actually doing it from a laptop right now. So laptop, phone, tablet, pretty much everything has a microphone in it nowadays. I can't imagine why, but apparently it seems to have a microphone in it. And so everything has microphones now. So it's both convenient and interesting. So anyway, so we're not keeping your data though. Well, I hate that stuff. So we're not. So you can do whatever you want to, say whatever you want to, and get whatever you want going out. So it will not. So it won't save it to a history or anything, but it won't save it, period, and it won't take up any space on your phone or your computer, because as soon as it processes the data, it just deletes the file. So okay. And so anything else?
Yeah, someone said they experienced both great stress relief, which was fabulous, and the last time they used it for hip and leg pain, 3 times they had no results.
Okay. And so sometimes pain in the body may not respond to that type of sensory immersion. If it does not, then usually it's a pretty the channel is usually pretty impacted. And so for something like that, you would kind of want more of a smart session to run for a long period of time. And so the sensory immersion is for kind of like dealing more with mental and emotional stuff. There is some stuff in there that can do certain types of pain stuff, but that's not really what the sensory immersion is totally for. For pain stuff and discomfort, trigger point stuff from the modalities page. Start a session, of course, has a pain reduction session. Smart session is great. Modalities has several different things like massage and other things in it. So that would be more of where I would go to. I wouldn't use sensory immersion for pain that much. You know, I tried it out initially and it did work okay, but then there were certain things that were just, it doesn't run long enough. And the vibrations would have to be like more vibratory in order to kind of shake that stuff loose. It does, it does beg to say that I could do that, you know, but you might have to have actually like better speakers or something like that that can deal with more bass or lower frequency tones that you wouldn't necessarily find in a phone. So if you're having the pain stuff or tight hips or whatever, I'd say try those other ones and run them, you know, for a long period of time, like 8 to 12 hours or something, so it can really get in there and kind of grind that stuff down for you. Okay, anything else?
For the sensory immersion, does it use solfeggio frequencies or binaural beats?
Actually, there's all of that, and so it just depends on what Serenity selects for you to listen to. Like basically, which frequencies and octaves are basically going to be the optimum one for your experience. And so, uh, oftentimes, it's listed on the video when you see it, like basically what hertz that you're playing with, or you know, it doesn't list any of the solfeggio because they're kind of more in the background, but it does tell you like what hertz that we're operating in, or if it's a binaural beat thing. So that way you kind of can follow along if you're into that, because I know some people are. So I just kind of named it that way.
Okay. How does the smart session compare to the Wonder Click?
Oh, well, the smart session is kind of like the meta balance version of the Wonder Click. And so with the new update, um, it's very comparable to how the Wonder Click works. There's a lot more automation of things dealing with certain types of parameters with SRC technology that we don't have in MetaBalance, because MetaBalance works kind of completely differently than that. But with the new voice scanning technology that we've applied to it, I think it's really an amazing upgrade for the automation factor, and it's um, kind of like a verbal all that stuff. You know, like that when you click the voice analyzer, it's kind of like an all that stuff with the SRC. You know, so like basically you could even click on the voice analyzer and say all that stuff, and it'll know what to do from there. So that's how cool the voice analyzer is. So it really takes the technology to another level to incorporate this, and uh, and down the road, will it probably incorporate something very similar into the SRC. But right now, we're still testing these things out and building these things, and so for at least the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to be developing on meta balance for right now.
Can you go over again how a smart session can that data can be saved to used for future sessions?
Oh yeah, sure. So when you click Smart Session, a box will pop up, and whatever you type in the box, that's the data that will be saved for your Smart Session. So
Okay.
you just kind of like every other session, It's very, very similar. When you click on pain reduction session, the box pops up and whatever you type into it, that's what goes into your history. So when you click on smart session, the box comes up and whatever you type in goes into your history.
Okay. Um, so I have a really long testimonial, but it's really good. I'm gonna read it. So I will be sending a video this week. I'm recovering from COVID. I caught it at a conference I attended 2 weeks ago and got really sick. Uh, COVID can make it hard for blood to carry oxygen to your cells. Around day 4, I realized my body wasn't getting enough oxygen. I was in crisis with heart doing a tap dance in my chest. It was around midnight. I jumped up, set metabalance to send more oxygen energy to me fast, relax all stress related symptoms, and some sleep support. I set in a general and a Reiki session, set up a P4, that's the from the SRC, to do the same thing. Within a few minutes, I fell asleep, woke up 30 minutes later with no symptoms and feeling like I just needed to sleep, so I did. Um, she ran the SRC for 23 hours, Metabalance for 12 hours each session. I'm a healer and I know my body and it talks to me. For others, I say you should probably call 911 or go to the ER, but I'm not that kind of person. I'll be 70 next month, so I kind of know me. I knew I could handle this, but if I hadn't had my Metabalance and SRC, 73 next month. If I hadn't had my Metabalance and SRC, I probably would have called 911, but I was fine in 30 minutes. My body said, thanks, I'm good, and I slept for the next 15 hours.
Well, that's a great that's a great story. I'm so glad that you're doing better, and I'm glad that we were able to help. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, amen. She'll be sending a video with her testimonial for that. Thank you. Well, I'm really glad you're better. That can be really scary, especially when you feel like you can't breathe.
Well, I mean, this stuff is getting so good. I can't even tell you how great that is doing. So I hope that everybody's using it. Just use it, use it, use it, because we got so many more great things that we're going to be coming out with here in the fourth quarter. Things that we're working on that are just going to blow your mind. And I tell you what, if you try the sensory immersion stuff for doing like deep emotional clearing work, it is just truly phenomenal. And so there's so many people that are going to be able to help, uh, so many deep traumas that they kept hidden away from themselves. And where metabalance is great for doing emotional clearing, and so is the SRC technology. They won't release something that you're not ready to release, and that's kind of where sensory immersion comes in, is that it will take it off a layer at a time, and as it takes it off that layer, your body becomes ready to release it, because making the body release a trauma can be traumatic. I've seen that before with people that do improper technique with emotional clearing type stuff, and that's not the way to go. You have to get the body ready. And so the audible tone sequencing, the imaging that you're seeing, it puts the body into an acceptable phase where it just is ready to let go of that layer, and then the next layer comes up. And so I can't tell you, I've done I've done the healing gig for, a long time, uh, probably like 25, 27 years, something like that. And I've seen so many people tell me all the time, they go, "Oh, it's all emotion. It's all emotion." And I go, "Well, it's not all emotion, but I can see why you think that." Well, here's your chance to find out how much of it is emotion, is to check out the sensory immersion, the deep dive into that. And so emotion can be a really big component of it, and it can be a real uh, obstacle to healing. And so with this is a great way to totally relax and unwind. And it only takes like 3 minutes for most things, and hey, if it took 15 minutes, so what? you know. And so, aren't you worth 15 minutes to feel better? You know. So, and yeah, it's really great. And so there should be enough selections that you really shouldn't see the same thing, a whole bunch of times. She can really, choose the right thing for you, whatever it is you're saying. So I know the voice analysis thing is such a it kind of got undersold because of all the other stuff that we're releasing this weekend, but the voice analysis is just takes it to a whole nother level. The data points that we can collect on stress markers with just you saying the thing, it doesn't even matter what you say. you know I could say, the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, and it'll still pick out the stress markers, and it can tell like how I'm feeling and how I'm doing and what it needs to do to make me feel better just from how I said what I said. So, put it to the test, try it out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always excited to hear feedback. And we're going to keep improving meta balance. And I've got some amazing stuff coming up in the fourth quarter. They're just such cool stuff. And we should probably be rolling stuff out probably like once every couple of 3 weeks. So every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll probably have something new to show you. So it's a very, very exciting time. And I've got like Smokey and the Bandit, I've got a long way to go and a short time to get there because I'm giving myself to the end of the year to be where I want to be with this project. And that's an unreasonable time, but these are unreasonable times, and I'm a very accomplished person and I can do these things. And so got to hold myself to the fire and the standard, because if I don't, nobody will, and we get lazy that way. And so I found the best competitor that I ever competed against was myself. So I put myself to the hazard and the challenge to try to make things great. And so when I do that, we all win. So it's not just me that wins, we all win. And so let me know what you guys think. Let me know any suggestions that you might have, because I can't think of everything. And you definitely have, different experiences than I have. And so I might have missed something. Yes.
I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, so actually, I have a comment first. So someone said, looking forward to using these tools. A spiritual conference I attended did a deep dive into the new AI. I call it the ancient intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. It's ancient and it's alive. It's very exciting.
Yes. And
So that was cool.
half of Serenity's brain is created with an ancient intelligence that I came up with almost 20 years ago, and I've been developing it ever since then. And then the other half of her brain is composed of like Chat GTP 4.0. And so the part that she talks to you is there. The part that does the calculations is over here. And so it's kind of like, ironically, it's kind of, this is how I designed it, was like left and right brain function. And so it gives her an amazing ability to really make the session tremendously better. And we're going to show coming up, and this will be more like on our Wednesday classes. We're going to show you some more tricks and tips to use with Serenity, so that you can really enhance your sessions and things that you're working on. Um,
So yeah, speaking of which, so I'm gonna start, well, we started it on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then we got hit with the hurricane. So anyway, we're gonna resume this week on Wednesday. So Wednesday at 8, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cynthia will help me with the Zoom, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna get pumped up to use MetaBalance, right? We need our like a little support group going, and we'll do some training. We'll answer questions. We'll welcome new people and current users. So if you know anyone, they don't really know what it is and they want to hop on, they're welcome to. When people have a free trial, they'll at least be able to attend 2 Zooms. And so, yeah, looking forward to seeing you there. So we'll send that out to your email as well. And I started texting people tonight, but I only got through half of my list. But if you don't really check your email, or you just want a reminder about when we're zooming, just let me know. I will be going through the whole list and reaching everyone. but you can feel free to send us an email. If you have my number, you can text it and just say yes. And I don't have a texting system, but I copy and paste. So I will definitely remind you when we're Zooming if you'd like. Okay, so with that being said, let's see. I had a couple of questions for you. What do you recommend toggling between sensory immersion and what other area for emotional clearing?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand the question.
I don't know if I do either. What do you
I
recommend? No.
don't
So
feel so bad now.
what do you recommend toggling between sensory immersion and what other area for emotional clearing?
Um, well, I mean, I think the sensory immersion does an incredible job of removing huge block trauma stuff from your energy. And so I don't necessarily know that you should really toggle, between stuff. But if you feel that for whatever reason you feel driven to do something else, a serenity session, which is the other interactive session currently, where you can explain to Serenity directly like what the problem is, and she'll ask you several questions related to the problem in an effort to try to get more information. And then she'll put together a custom session for you that you can set the amount of time that it runs for, so it can run longer. It can run up a Serenity session can run up to 12 hours, and so it can really grind on stuff that if you need to do a deep dive on anything, uh, you can do a Serenity session, which is it's the first interactive session. So you click interactive session, and then you'll click Serenity session and next. And so that'll take you there, and you can talk to Serenity directly, and she'll put it all together for you based off the information that you give her and the information that the questions that she asked, which will be customized to whatever your problem is.
Okay, and then find the other question here. Does Serenity tap into the intuitive discernment aspect of metabalance?
Yes, that would be the right brain function. So Serenity's right brain is like the intuitive discernment engine, and then the left brain function is like the chat GTP. So um, so that's how that works.
Okay, and then someone asked if we use the same link for the Wednesday and Sunday Zooms, and currently, no, they're different. And now I'm kind of rethinking that, so I'll let you know. It's just like the way it's set up, like I have a recurring Sunday Zoom, and then I created like a different meeting for Wednesday. But in hindsight, it might be easier if it was one Zoom, but I've already sent out the new Zoom to so many people. So yeah, but since it's just getting going, it might be easier, right? Keep it the same Zoom link. Yeah. So the answer will most likely be yes. I just have to change that. So I'll send out an email and let you know. So I think that's all the questions. Let me see. Um yeah, I could do that. Could I put both Zooms in one email? Yeah. But I guess why would I have two different links, right?
Well,
I
especially if
don't
one of
know.
them didn't work. Yeah. Uh,
No, it's just the way Zoom's set up, It's just I was just kind of in Zoom mode, just following the
we'll
protocol.
figure it out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll let everybody know. That's
Yeah.
probably the best answer for right now. But do think that's probably a good idea to just use the same link each time.
And yeah, we want to have the weekly Zooms too. We want like I said, we want everyone to use it. I have a testimonial. So I got really busy and I forgot to pull myself up, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling my best. And then I ran myself all day yesterday and the day before, and it was like amazing, and the physical issues I had were gone. And then today I forgot to pull myself up because I was working all day and I just kind of felt like poo. Anyway, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, why is this happening? Oh yeah, I didn't, I mean, seriously though, like I really noticed the absence of it. So I want to remember to run it too. So, I'll host the meetings and we'll all just, it's like, strength in numbers. When you have other people that are motivated and running themselves, I know a lot of people forget to pull themselves up. So I know people, just forget it's there, or you just get busy, just like I do. So I know if we run ourselves more, we're gonna feel better. So, but you're right, you have to run yourself to notice the change. You can't just think about it, and you can't just have a membership. You have to use it.
That's the thing. Please use it, use it every day. Even if you start the beginning of your day, set a fitness program, you know, and let it run all day. Okay. We had a great testimony from somebody recently who, well, actually, Emily probably knows the testimony better than I do. But, basically the gist was she hasn't been able to work out for a really long time. And after using MetaBalance fitness program for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or something like that, she was able to go back to the gym. But I don't know if you got any more information on that.
I don't.
No? Okay. Well, yeah, it was basically, she's over 65 and she was, just really not feeling, fit and wanting to do any kind of exercise. But then after a couple of weeks or a month of running the fitness program, she was able to actually, now she goes to the gym all the time. So it really, really turned her around. So don't forget fitness under modalities, because that's a really good one to do, and we take that for granted. But we have very stationary lives, and running fitness, especially if you're running it for like 8 to 12 hours a day, that's a lot. And so try it out and see how that works for you.
What is the best screen for weight loss?
Well, there's lots of different reasons why that you may be experiencing, you know, the inability to lose weight. And so I would say probably go to the Serenity session, which is under interactive sessions, and talk to Serenity directly, and she'll ask questions to do a deep dive with you to find out maybe why. Is it dietary related? Is, like, what's the reasoning for what's going on? Maybe it's emotionally depressed. There can be dieting, or not dieting, but weight loss is one of those that's just kind of all over the place with where it could be coming from. So I would do consistently, I would do, talk to Serenity on a Serenity session. Try it for a month, do it every day for a month and run it like 12 hours a day, and then see how you do at the end of the month. And see if you've slimmed down, see if you've because there's lots of suggestions that she can make, and the frequencies are, the subtle vibrations are great. And she can really ask you the questions and really tone in like what she needs to do by getting the answers to those questions. Oh, okay. Somebody else
So
has got a story
yeah.
about the fitness program. Yeah. And so that'd be great.
Let me see where she is here. I don't know if you would like to unmute yourself. Let's see. Let me go to the screen real quick
Hi,
here.
can you hear me now?
Huh?
Hi,
Yes.
hi, yes.
Hi, it's Jolene. Hey, I want to tell you, I ran the fitness program for core strength and leg strength before I had to go in for open heart surgery to replace a valve. And all of the nurses that I worked with and the PT people were like, "You are so strong." And let me tell you, I have not been strong. I've been, not bedbound, but, until my valve was replaced, I didn't have a lot of oxygen that I could work with. And that that fitness program is the bomb. So I just want to say it's fantastic. So,
Great. Great.
and
Really glad to hear you're using it like that, because that's exactly what
yeah,
it's for. Yeah.
well, and then we used the pain program and trigger points and an emotional program when I had the surgery, and I never had to take one bit of narcotic pain relief,
That's
which
fantastic.
blew their minds. So, and that's fun to do.
That is so fun to do. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much. I'm so grateful, David. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. So glad to hear what a great testimony. Fantastic. Keep using it.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing, huh? Very
Yeah,
inspiring.
that's say
It's like you
super
wouldn't think
impressive.
to
Yeah.
use it for that or something. It's almost like I wouldn't even, you know what I mean? It's like you have to use it. It's like, right? You think, oh, I'll use it for stress, for emotions, and then you hear something like that and you're like, wow. So, right? I think your motto is if you can think it, right? You can what you're saying? If you can I don't know if you can believe it, you can achieve it, or if you can think it, you can do it. Something like that.
Well, it's actually if you can feel it, if you can affect it, and if you can affect it, you can correct it.
Right,
Is
that's it.
Yeah. If you can affect it, you can correct it. So if you can move the marker just a tiny bit, then you can move it a tiny bit more until finally you're kind of where you want to be. So, don't give up. Try all kinds of things, that are safe to try. And MetaBalance is super safe. It doesn't do anything but use vibration to help calm your body and release stress. And stress is such a factor. People have no idea, and like you'll see some video footage of people in India, and they'll be walking on hot coals, and or they'll be like eating fire. And so some of these things are stress related. And if you can relax enough, you can do these things without the pain being able to harm your body. That's the mindset that they're trying to get into when they do these types of things. And so uh, stress or the lack of stress can be a huge determining factor in many, many things that affect us on a daily basis. Oh, yeah. Uh, Dr. Ernesto asked, would you repeat the principle? And so the principle is if you can feel it, if you can perceive it, basically. So if you can feel the energy of it. So if you can feel it, you can affect it. And so that's what my grandmaster taught me about energy. And when we learn to be able to feel deep into the energy and read the energy in qigong. And so he would say, if you can feel it, you can affect it. So it starts with being able to feel it, to be aware that it's a thing, that and be aware of the shape of it. How deep is it? What does it look like? And if you feel it, you can affect it. And so I added to this from years of experience of doing that. If you can affect it, you can correct it. And so it all starts with the feeling or the awareness. If you can feel it, you can affect it. If you can affect it, you can correct it.
Thanks. I was actually making a note about that on my phone.
Yeah, I actually came up with a really long system that of that, which is about maybe 9 principles or so that explain how this whole thing works. And I can't remember all of it right off the top of my head, but it is on one of my videos. So I'll have to go back and look at it. But it's really good. It explains the whole thing in just that format. If you feel it, you can affect it. If you affect it, you can correct it. If you can correct it, you can do this, and it goes on and on. But yeah, it's really good and helps you to grasp, how the energy stuff works. All right. Well, I would say thank you guys for coming tonight, and I hope that you get as much enjoyment out of MetaBalance as I have been making it. And I can't wait for all the cool new stuff to come out over the next couple of months. And so it's going to be a very Merry Christmas.
And just really quick too, about Serenity, we're still right, we're still building her. So If you use Serenity, she's not, I've heard a few people say she's not what she used to be, or they used to like her responses better. It's not about what she's saying to you. Just remember when you use that Serenity chat, it's just about what you're putting in there. And you typing into that green little chat box already makes your program so much stronger. And then we're working on her responses so that they're more pleasing, to the ear. And I believe we're working on different versions of Serenity too, which is a little secret that's coming soon. But so you'll have the ability to have different types of conversations. So, because everyone kind of likes something a little different, some people just like, something better than someone else. So, I think we're working on a variety. So it's just going to take a little time. So there's a lot in store though. So,
Yeah, some very cool stuff on that
yeah.
coming down the line. So right now, Serenity gives you the best stress reduction advice, that's based on whatever it is. If you want to prompt her to give her some context before you ask a question, that would be good to kind of let her know where you're coming from when you ask the question, because she's going to come from a neutral standpoint at the beginning. However, uh, we're coming up with coaching models for Serenity, and I've been writing the code on that. It's very time consuming and very lengthy, but it is actually turning out really, really great. And so one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to have a Shun Shen Tao coach for Serenity. And of course, Shun Shen Tao is our healing style of martial art. And so it will basically answer any question that you ask her from the understanding of Shun Shen Tao. So it kind of be like asking me questions. And so hopefully that will lessen the text messages and phone calls that I get, because I can say, well, you can just subscribe to Serenity and she can answer your question for you. And so, and of
Yeah.
course, she takes that information and she puts that into the session. So some really, really cool stuff coming down the line. I got to tell you, I'm really super excited for how things are going to be going. So get ready, because there's not going to be anything like this when we're done. There's nothing like this now, and so and that's where you want to go from 0 to 1 million, in just like that, so they can't catch you. Your technology is just too fast. Nobody's going to be able to try to duplicate this and make it something stupid or weird. We're going to be so far ahead. I mean, we're so far ahead of anything else that's out there right now, and with all the things that I've got planned, it's just going to be an absolute slam dunk. So I want to get all this done by the end of 2024, and of course we're going to be tweaking in and stuff through 2025. But I want to get a lot of the main components of my wish list completed before 2024 ends. So okay, well,
Yeah,
thank you
and
guys.
it is more than an app. Yeah, just remember it is so much more than an app. I've had a couple of people comparing it to like some other apps, and I went and like used it, and it looked like really cool and shiny, but it was so empty. I'm like, like it wasn't working on me. It was just a program, flashing something to me and telling me some advice. And I think it has like basically it's like a meditation app, but it wasn't this. And then Grandmaster said, "Oh wait, we're gonna have some meditations in here." I was like, "Yes." But it's so much, so much, so much more than an app. And if you guys, if anyone here has friends or is a practitioner and you want to schedule like a private Zoom with us, if you can get like a group of people together, then we are still hosting those. So if you have people that are interested, then we can do a private Zoom for you. We could do stuff in person too for people locally, and if large enough, like we can fly. So, we can actually do other things as well. So, Ken, I have a question that came in. Can we run the fitness app while we sleep?
You can, but I'm going to give you this tip. Don't run it on anything else than normal, because if you and normal it's possible that it may disrupt your sleep. But I find that normal doesn't disrupt my sleep. But if I put it on anything other than normal, like maximum or strong or certainly extreme, You just don't sleep. you know, you might sleep like 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. You'll feel rested when you get up, interestingly enough, but that's probably not good for you. So you need to get some sleep. So yeah, you can totally run it. My recommendation for it, honestly, is to run it for 12 hours, starting first thing when you wake up in the morning. Just set it for 12 hours and put it on normal and just let it run all day. And you could, of course, you could tell it what areas you want to work on, or you can just run the general fitness program and it'll just kind of do its general stuff. But a lot of people suffer from core weaknesses, like Jolene was talking about earlier. And so doing core strength is a really, really good one. Doing gut, abdominal strengthening, that's a really good one. And another good one is cardiovascular uh, oxygenation and stamina. So cardiovascular oxygenation and stamina. Um, so those are all good ones to add in too, in the fitness program, which is under modalities.
And I was thinking of, I think we were talking about this. I was talking to someone saying that I kind of wanted to do like a MetaBounce 30-day challenge. So we'll see. I mean,
Yeah,
where I literally just, I'll run it certain protocol every day, do a little video, share that, and maybe inspire everybody to take the challenge with me. I mean, if you're not running it every day, um, right? That might be fun. I don't know. I'm just saying.
yeah.
We'll talk about it more on Wednesday.
I'm actually going to put together an introductory series of emails and little videos for people now when they sign up. And so we'll basically do like for their free trial. We're not doing free trials anymore. We're doing free deep dive immersions for 2 weeks intensive into MetaBalance, because seems to be the problem is people, they go to the website, they sign up, they try it once and they go, you know what? I'm not really sure what I was supposed to be doing here. And then they forget about it for 2 weeks and then they go, oh yeah, let me cancel that. And so they just don't know what to do with it. They don't understand the power that it has. And so I'm going to put little minute video clips together and we'll send them like an email every day showing them a cool tip or a cool trick. And, hey, did you know that MetaBalance could do this? Hey, did you know it could do that? So this will be great for people who are just signing up. I'll probably have it done in the next probably week. Uh, but this will be really great for new people signing up because and of course I'm going to put great tips and tricks on there. So you'll want those too. But we'll put those in the library, the repository, so you can check out any tips or tricks that we put in any emails if you're not getting the intro email. Okay.
All right. It was good to see everyone. And yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, good to
And
see
we'll see
everybody.
you. Yeah, see some of you Wednesday. Look forward to it.
All right, and thanks for sharing Meta Balance.
All right. Everyone is saying thank you, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very appreciative. Aw, you're welcome. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see you, some of you Wednesday. Have a good night. God bless.
Look forward to it.
Take care, Joanne.
Thank you for that tip, Grandmaster.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for catching that thing on the smart session. I actually had overlooked that because we kind of did it in a rush there at the end. So yeah, but we'll have that fixed probably tomorrow.
Yeah, what I was really trying to ask is because you said you keep doing the smart sessions now, it's saving what you have done prior. So
Yeah.
my question was, is it only saving what we do prior, like in the history, like all of the rest of the sessions, or?
Well, anything that you type in will be, that information will be saved. Everything else that you've done, whether it's voice or whether it's talking to Serenity in the chat, that information is saved, but it's not currently accessible. The voice doesn't save, but the chat with Serenity does save. But you can't access it. But that's something that we're going to change probably in the next week or two. And so you'll be able to access your history log with Serenity's chat. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yes,
And,
yeah.
but that,
So
because you were saying that now the smart session is going to be continuing, will take from what it's already done on you to expand it in the future. Even if you add something else new to it, it's so always going to look, my thinking was that it always going to look at what we originally talked about to see if it was still an issue or not.
yeah, well, you're going to be, yeah, you'll be able to see everything that you said. Like, uh,
Okay,
Serenity remembers everything that you talked about, but we can't access that information. So
got it.
what we're going to do, because we respect everybody's privacy, and whatever they're dealing with, we certainly don't want to know about it unless they want us to. So we can't access that, which is kind of why it's been off the table. We haven't really, but a lot of people have said, hey, can we get the chat log for Serenity? And I was kind of concerned about privacy issues, but we found a way to do it. We've been working on it so that you will have access to your chats with Serenity, and
Okay.
it'll line up with the session that you did. So because the information is there, she pulls from it whenever you do a history on a session of some kind. But just we have no way of accessing that. Only she can
Yeah,
access that.
sure. But she does,
Yeah.
where she's working individually with us. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like,
Okay.
like patient confidentiality or whatever.
Yeah, sure, sure. I get it. That's good. All right, cool.
Okay. All right.
All
All
right.
right. You have a great night and keep using it. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you, Grandmaster.
You're most welcome. Have a great night.
All right,
Bye.
good night.